The A-Team.
All right, 4 o'clock hour underway here on Sports Talk 790 and Space City Home Network. Wex and AC with you on a Thursday edition of the program. And as promised, our good buddy Frank Caliendo calling in. And this is awesome because not too often do we book a guest and they're like, hey, I've got a Comrex so it'll sound good so it's not just a phone. But Frank does that because he's fancy that way. What's going on, man?
What I like to do is lie to people and tell them I'm there right now. But you gave away the secret.
Sorry.
No. I actually am glad you did. It proves how cool I am. I don't even know what that means. I'm just sitting in my office that I'm redoing right now, and people. I'm sorry, I'm slightly distracted while I'm talking to you, but people keep sending me texts that Jon Gruden. I'll tell you what, man, been reinstated into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Hall of Fame, man. It's pretty good stuff right there, man.
Did you, like, when that whole thing happened with him, with the emails and all that kind of stuff, like, for example, one of the first questions I wanted to ask you, you had to have been happy about how the election turned out because that's good for you. Are you happy when you hear things like that about Gruden because it's one of your voices you can do?
Yeah. I mean, I know Jon really well, so I mean, I was texting him when a lot of that stuff was going on, and just seeing all the different stuff that was happening, and then to see him making his comeback, which is great because he's everywhere, and he's just a guy that. I don't even know. I don't even know how to say it, but he's a good guy, an old school guy in a lot of ways, and doesn't always. I mean, a lot of us say things wrong, but when you're a coach, it's different than when you're a comedian. When you're a comedian, you're like, it's a joke, it's a joke.
Yeah.
When you're a coach, it's like everybody takes everything you say seriously, and some things are in context, and maybe you just make a mistake and you're just an idiot at times, and that happens to all of us too in different respects. Maybe not the same, but it does happen. So in terms of like the election and I stayed away from the Gruden stuff for a while, just because I knew him and it was weird and too close to do something with that. But people were texting me and asking me to be on the radio, like in Vegas and stuff. Hey, come and read the emails. I'm like, I'm not gonna do. No. That's all weird stuff right there. But I'll tell you what. While some of it was going on, it was interesting because I was in Italy 2 years ago. My family and I had never been over there, and I'm Italian, so we had to visit the homeland. So we go to Italy. And I take a picture of me in front of the Coliseum, and I put it up on Instagram. And I tend not to do enough social media, so I was trying to do it in Italy to show people this. I guess I'm a world traveler or something. So I put it on. I think I did Rome in Rome. in Rome, and my phone is in Rome. That's Rome cubed. Great job. So I do that. I put up the picture of me in front of the Coliseum, and I got a text from the guy. Jeff Leonardo, who is Gruden's right-hand man. And he's like, did you know Jon is in Rome right now? I'm like, no, I don't have Grudar. How would I know that he's in Rome? So he's like, he's there, text him. So I text Jon, and he's like, you want to go out for dinner? Let's get some dinner, man. So we go. I meet him for dinner, my family, his family. He goes to the wrong restaurant first, even though he set it up. I'm like, if you're not 5 minutes early, you're late, man. What are you doing here? But there's nothing funnier than Jon Gruden sitting in a restaurant in Rome going, hey, you going to eat the rest of that spaghetti, man? That looks pretty good right there. Is that marinara? Don't worry, I'll pay for this, man. Listen, do a little Lady and the Tramp.
That sounds like something he would say, too.
He's so goofy. I mean, he is I don't know. Some people might not find him funny. Some people find him to be, over the top. But he does say a lot of things almost out of the side of his mouth. You're like, gee, is that a joke or are you just insane? There's a lot of that. So it's good to see that he's back, and I know that bothered him. And why wouldn't it? That he was out of the Tampa Bay Hall of Fame, but now he's back. So, or Ring of Honor, whatever it's called.
Yeah, for those who had not heard, the bottom of the Bucks statement sent out an hour ago. Upon further reflection, we've decided to reinstate him, Jon Gruden, into the Buccaneers Ring of Honor. And Frank, the stories you're telling, obviously you're friendly with him, you know him, you're friends with him. He's among many people who you have an impression for, that you've done the impression for them and with them. The late, great Bill Walton also in that group, and there are others. Do you have that just touch of nervousness before an impression sitting next to the person you're impersonating begins, and then it does seem like it usually goes well.
Well, yeah, I mean, when I was with Walton, he didn't even know. He was in his own world, remembering, reflecting, enjoying. That's the thing about Walton is that his partner, Dave Pash, who lives in Arizona, and I'm very good friends with. I live in Tempe. He lives in Chandler, with bordering communities. So he had the best line of the night. It's talking about how Bill actually focused more on the game than I did, and he'd never seen Bill focus more on the game than anybody else. So it was fun to do that with Bill. I've known Bill for years. He would bring people to shows. The first time I ever did a show in front of him was in San Diego, California, for a charity, and they're like, "Bill's in the crowd. We don't know if you want to do the Bill impression, Bill Walton." And I was like, it's not mean. I do this stuff. It's just silly. And they're like, okay, but his back is hurting. And it's like, let's just see. And I started, I remember being at Berkeley, blotches of beer not connecting on my face. I could smell colors. I could feel sounds. And people are like tense in the crowd, but you see in the back, Walton stands up, hilarious, encore. I wasn't even done yet. He's like, what did they say? Encore, just get going, make it happen. This is what it's all about.
Yeah, they were always playing for the ultimate prize, an NBA championship.
The Conference of Champions. Here we go. Throw it down, big man.
Exactly. Frank Caliendo joining us here on Sports Talk 790. He is going to be at the Houston Improv coming up I say next month. It's basically next month, but it's April. We're at the very tail end of February here. Saturday, April 5th, he's got 2 shows, and then Sunday, April 6th, he'll have 1 show at the Houston Improv. You can go to improvtx.com/Houston to get tickets to all of those shows, whichever one works best for you. Wex and I are planning to come see you.
Oh, great.
And I absolutely have to ask you because you have met a lot of these people and you have done impressions. And then I asked you about the election. Everybody, I feel like, has a Donald Trump impression. But this guy is like, it's so far. This sounds stupid to even say, but I really do believe it. It's so far beyond a presidency at this point, is it not? It's like a pop culture phenomenon, whether you hate the guy or love the guy or you're somewhere in between, which I don't think there is any in between.
Yeah, I'm probably the one. I try to stay on all politicians, any side. I just try and look at it as far as comedy and try not to put my own. I always balance on either side, and I will make fun of the people and hit them a little bit with just certain things, but then I hit the other side too. That's the way I've always done it. But Trump has changed. I mean, Trump used to be that. He did a lot of yelling. I did a sketch with him back on the NFL on Fox, believe it or not, and it was, I've decided to run for president. He's standing right next to me. I've decided to run for president. I've decided to not run for president. I've decided to not run for president. I don't even know if I'm running anymore. So we did that back and forth, and then he's like, after we did the sketch, he's like, do you have a second? I'm like, yeah. He goes, come with me. And it was like Willy Wonka, come with me, you will see. So he takes me down to this kiosk in Trump Tower. That's where we're doing the sketch. And he's like, you want a tie? Here's a tie. He gives me these ties. He's like, do you wear cufflinks? I'm like, not yet, because I'm hoping he's going to give me some. And then he grabs this watch and he takes the price tag off. And he's like, are you married? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, more important question, do you like your wife? And I was like, what kind of question is that? But he sends me out into New York City with a watch that I think is worth thousands of dollars. Turns out it was costume jewelry, but it was a great story to have and do that. But that's my Trump is just, as much as he exaggerates, my Trump is exaggerating beyond that. Like, we're going to make America great again. Then we're going to make the galaxy great again. And not just the Milky Way. We're going to make Snickers great again. We're going to make all the candy bars great again. And then we're going to make the universe great again. And not just this universe. We're going to make the Marvel universe, the DC universe. They're going to be better. They're going to be better.
We feel like the broadcasters, because there's so much sports on your plate because of this, the Inside the NBA crew, you could do Barkley, you could do Shaq, you can do both. We talk about Tony Romo quite a bit here on the show because he loves saying Jim over and over and over again throughout the broadcast.
It's like he's revving up a car. Oh, Jim. Here we go, Jim. Tony. Yeah, and that's my only thing. Nance once asked me why I only said Tony. I'm like, well, I don't do a great Jim Nance, so I just when he gets excited, he goes to the sideline. So I just do that with Tony, and they do that on the broadcast now. They did it in the. Was it the divisional? I can't. But they started going, here we go, Jim, Tony. Like after, because there's Mike Caliendo, who's not related to me, is on the Chiefs, and when they would bring him up, Nance actually said, Mike Caliendo blocking like he's Frank Caliendo. so those are always good. Oh, Jim, here we go. Yeah.
Yeah, Wex is, how do I say this delicately? He's not a biggest Tony fan because...
No. Well, it's funny because Romo was Nostradamus, and then suddenly he knows nothing about football.
Yes.
Like he went from predicting every play to not. Oh, Jim, what's going to happen here? That's your job, Tony. There was always that, and now he's kind of settled into the middle again. I like Romo, and I'll tell you why. I always find what I like about people, but the thing he has that. Kid in a candy store. Oh, Jim, look at that. You got sweet tarts. They're going to last all day. And then look at that Fruit Stripes gum. It's not going to last more than 3 seconds, but here we go, Jim. Everlasting gobstopper. Willy Wonka, come with me. We're back. We took the Wonka-vator, we took the Trump-vator, and it swirled in a circle just like my hair.
It's Frank Caliendo. He's at the Houston Improv coming up Saturday, April 5th. 2 shows that night and 1 on Sunday, April 6th. Tickets available at improvtx.com/Houston. We're up against it, but before I let you go, we got to hear a little bit of Frank Caliendo. Frank Caliendo, Morgan Freeman, I should say. You did the liner for us from way back, and it's like, Morgan Freeman doesn't exactly. It's not like there's this huge long list of movies or projects that he's got on the horizon, and yet it's probably my favorite one that you do.
Well, the fact of the matter is, I climbed through 500 yards of the filthiest slop I can't even imagine. Or maybe I just don't want to.
It's always fun to just list things with it. I think we did. What did we do last?
Cereal one time.
Cereals and
Frosted Flakes. They're great. Snap, crackle, and pop. Rice Krispies. Cheerios. There's a honey oven O. There's Honey Nut Cheerios. Apple Jacks. Count Chocula. Frankenberry. Blueberry. For about 7 people on Earth. Yeah. Smurfberry Crunch is fun to eat.
My goodness, I remember those commercials.
Sugar Smacks. No longer with the sugar in there. They're just called Smacks. Still got the same frog.
You can listen to Morgan Freeman read the phone book, frankly, but that is Frank Caliendo. He's coming in the beginning of April, Saturday, April 5th, Sunday, April 6th, 3 shows, 2 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. You can get tickets at the Houston Improv's website, improvtx.com. Frank, we really appreciate the time. Cannot wait to catch up with you in person. We'll have you in studio. We'll have a lot of fun. And until then, be safe, and we'll see you in Houston soon.
Awesome. Sounds good, man.
All right, Frank Caliendo here on Sports Talk 790. Good stuff. Always fun catching up with him. And we've got plenty more to come here on a Thursday edition of the show.
The A-Team on Sports Talk 790.